In the second year of being engaged to John Doe, he secretly got married to his childhood sweetheart. When I rushed to the Civil Affairs Bureau, they were passionately kissing. Seeing me, John Doe calmly explained. Lily has a heart surgery next week. She wants a marriage certificate. I calmly took off my engagement ring and went to spend the May Day holiday with my best friend. His friend advised him to come and apologize to me. John Doe smiled coldly and said, "She was engaged to me. Who else would marry her? Just wait and see. She'll come back crying and begging me in a couple of days." But later, after seeing me burn the diary that recorded our relationship, he suddenly went crazy. He publicly proposed to me on Instagram. I was lying in the arms of his good friend, Michael Brown, and with a tingling sensation in my fingertips, I commented, "I won't marry a divorced man." John Doe regretted it so much that he felt like vomiting blood and begged me to look at him again. On the happy marriage registration platform, John Doe and Lily were passionately kissing. They kissed with great concentration and affection. I stood at the door, nervously clutching the ring in my hand. "Miss, are you here to get a marriage certificate? Where's your husband?" The voice of the staff suddenly interrupted the two on the platform. Seeing me, John Doe calmly explained, "Lily has a heart surgery next week. She wants to have a marriage certificate with me, considering your status as my fiancé. She won't hold a wedding. You should be understanding and stop making a fuss." Emily and John were high school alumni. They were together for 4 years in college and got engaged after graduation. But what I didn't expect was that the man who put the engagement ring on my finger a year ago, and said he'd love me forever, was now getting married to another woman. "Don't worry. I'm very understanding. I wish you a happy marriage." I smiled gently, took off the ring on my hand, and placed it on the marriage registration platform. John frowned slightly and said impatiently, "Emily, what kind of jealous act are you pulling now?" I turned around and was about to leave. Lily picked up her wedding dress and ran down from the platform to stop me. With tears in her eyes, she said, "Sis Emily, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Please don't blame John, okay? I'm having a heart surgery next week. I'm afraid I won't make it through. So I asked him to marry me. I just want to feel the happiness of getting married. Don't worry. Once I survive the surgery, we'll apply for a divorce. Don't cry." Lily. John hugged Lily into his arms and looked at me unhappily. "Emily, Lily gets uncomfortable in her heart when she cries. Do you really not wish her well? I just got married to her on paper. You're still my official fiancé. After her surgery, we'll apply for a divorce. Do you really have to call off the engagement over such a small thing?" "Of course, I do." I forced a bitter smile. Lily picked up the engagement ring on the marriage registration platform and cried coquettishly and pitifully. "John, I'm sorry. It's my fault that you've been misunderstood by Sis Emily." She took off the engagement ring. She must be angry with me. I turned around and walked towards the door. Behind me, John sneered. "Don't worry. Emily had a crush on me in high school. We were together for 4 years in college. Every time my friends and I took girls out to play, she'd be angry for a few days and then come back to me. When I got home, I called my best friend, Sophie Taylor, to go to Flower City for the May Day holiday. Emily, I just finished visiting an art exhibition in Kyoto. Send me your location when you get to Flower City. I'll come to you when I arrive." At 8 o'clock in the evening, I arrived at the Galaxy Tavern in Flower City. I had just taken a sip of my drink when a man with outstanding temperament walked into the tavern. He was wearing expensive clothes, with black hair and a tear-shaped mole. If you didn't look closely, you'd think he was a signboard gigolo dressed up as an innocent high school boy. But when I took a closer look, I almost choked on my drink. Why was Michael here? Suddenly, my phone beeped twice. It was a message from Sophie. "Emily, I have something urgent and need to go abroad. My brother is in Flower City. Let him accompany you for a few days. He has money and time. Just order him around." Don't be polite to him. Michael probably saw me and walked straight towards me. Emily and Michael were classmates in high school. He was an art student and graduated from the Kyoto Conservatory of Music. Now he's the lead singer of the top-notch domestic band Plana. The last time we met was a year ago. On the same day when Sophie and I celebrated our birthdays. He came back from Kyoto specially. Emily. Long time no see. Michael Brown's voice was low and pleasant, still carrying that careless vibe from middle school. Long time no see. I gestured for him to sit down. What would you like to drink? My treat. Aren't you not supposed to drink? There's no need to harm yourself like this over a broken heart. Michael looked at the table full of alcohol, his handsome brow instantly furrowing. Apparently, Sophie Taylor had told him about my situation with John Doe. I smiled bitterly, looked up at his beautiful tear mole, hesitated for a few seconds, and blurted out on impulse. Michael Brown, will you spend the night with me? Michael's eyes darkened slightly, seeing his displeasure. I quickly waved my hand with a laugh. Sorry, I was just. Okay. Michael's thin lips curved into a faint smile as he cut me off. I don't know how I ended up in bed, but when I opened my eyes, I saw Michael taking off his shirt, staring at his 8-pack abs. I couldn't help but swallow hard. A spark of interest lit up in Michael's eyes as he leaned close to my ear and said in a low voice, Sophie said you wanted to touch 10 male models' abs after your breakup. I have 8. Want to touch them? Emily, I'll only let you touch them. Michael, do you have a girlfriend? I asked with a drunken smile, forcing myself to stay upright. He looked serious and said, single since birth. As the words fell, Michael kissed my lips as if they were a treasure. The scent of peach blossom wine filled the air, and my body went weak uncontrollably. When my robe slipped off my shoulders, Michael's kisses grew bolder, until I cried out, tears falling like scattered gardenia blossoms. He looked slightly startled, hugged me with some panic, and comforted me gently, slowing his pace. Daybreak came, and I was awake. To be precise, I hadn't slept all night. I'd actually slept with Michael. And of all people, he was John Doe's best friend. Michael was still asleep, so I got out of bed quietly. Opening my bag, I found only $200, so I left it all on the nightstand. Just as I reached the hotel lobby, John Doe called, Emily Smith. What did you say to Lily Green again? She suddenly cried and fainted this morning. If I hadn't gotten her to the hospital in time, it could have been disastrous. I'm just getting a marriage certificate with her. And you want her dead that badly? I made it clear to you yesterday that the position of Mrs. Doe has always been reserved for you. You know she has a heart condition, she can't cry or get upset. Why did you have to do something so childish? My fingers tightened slightly on the phone as I said calmly, I was busy last night. I had no time to bother with her. John, the first know you care about her. But don't pin these baseless accusations on me. Okay. Before John could reply, his friends' voices came through first. Emily, you know Lily's health situation. She's John's childhood friend, so it's natural for him to look out for her more. As John's fiancé, why can't you get along with her? Why waste words on her? John treats her so well, and she still wants to call off the engagement. How ungrateful. Shut up. John cut them off and asked me coldly, Emily, where are you? Lily's surgery is next Wednesday, and she's emotionally unstable right now. Come to Hawashi Hospital and apologize to her. It'll make her feel better. After a thoughtful pause, I asked, did Lily say I called and yelled at her last night? Yes. Sorry. I was busy all night and didn't get a chance to touch my phone. I chuckled softly and hung up. But soon, John sent a message. What did you mean by that earlier? John, you could get Lily to the hospital in time. But where were you last night? I shot back a question. And he replied 5 minutes later. Lily couldn't sleep at night, so I was just keeping her company while she slept. I see her as a sister. Nothing as dirty as you're imagining. At 7. Michael found me at the breakfast shop across from the hotel. Seeing him, I suddenly couldn't look him in the eye. So I buried my head in my tofu pudding noodles like an ostrich. He walked over and sat down. His tone casually indifferent. Emily Smith. In your eyes. Am I Michael Brown only worth $200? I faintly hummed in agreement. But upon seeing his shocked expression, I immediately snapped out of it and shook my head. No. Michael looked at me, his eyes swirling with murky, unreadable emotions. Emily. Last night I was serious. Don't tell me you were just playing me. Michael. We're all adults here. Last night was consensual. And the $200 was for your hotel fee. I met his gaze directly, but my voice came out hoarse when I spoke. Michael's expression turned concerned, and he got up to fetch a cup of hot water from the shop. Emily. After I saw John Doe post his marriage certificate on social media yesterday, I've been worried about you. I had Sophie Taylor keep an eye on your situation, and when she mentioned you were coming to Flower City for a trip, I bought a plane ticket right away and flew from Kyoto to be here. You and John are over. How about giving us a try? Hearing Michael's words, I just smiled softly. Michael. John and I dated for 5 years. He's your close friend. So what? He raised an eyebrow slightly. His dark eyes filled with undisguised bluntness. I'm sorry, Michael. A sudden ache welled up in my heart, and I trailed off. Michael composed himself, laughing lightly with indifference. I get it. Don't dwell on last night's thing. Even if you were playing me, I'll take it. Flower City has lots of tourist spots. I'll keep you company these few days to relax. 2 days later, Michael said he'd take me for a ride on his motorcycle to the seaside. Walking out of the hotel entrance, I saw him leaning against the bike, holding a pink helmet. The sunlight streamed down briefly, as if time had hit pause. For some reason, I suddenly remembered high school days when he and his friends would zoom past me on their bicycles. After getting on the bike, a flicker of amusement passed through Michael's eyes as he gazed at me in the motorcycle's rearview mirror. Emily. I ride fast. Hold on to my waist so you don't fall off. With the roar of the engine echoing, I paused, then wrapped my arms tightly around his waist from behind. In the mirror, the smile on Michael's handsome face grew even more exuberant. On the seaside motorcycle path, my ears filled entirely with the howl of the ocean wind. Summer seemed to have arrived. The sunset gradually sank, casting golden light on seashells scattered across the beach, while fishing boats swayed gently in the distance. Suddenly, my phone rang, and Michael pulled over to the roadside. He was tall, exuding a wild, rebellious aura, but every time he looked at me, his eyes held only a gentle smile. You take the call. I'll snap a few photos for Sophie. That girl. Okay. Realizing it was John calling, I walked a few steps forward before answering. Emily. Where are you? My mom is picking out wedding dates for us. Send her your birth details. Hearing that, I flew into a rage and shouted. John Doe. Did you take amnesia pills? What wedding with you? We broke up ages ago. You should have Lily Green send Itches your certified fiancé. So angry. And you say you're not jealous. It's been days. And you're still mad. Lily's surgery went smoothly, and I filed for divorce with her yesterday. Once the cooling off period is over, I'll marry you properly into the Doe family. Isn't that enough? No, it's not. I emphasized again that we had called off the engagement, and John's tone suddenly turned cold. Emily. Stop throwing tantrums all the time. My patience has its limits. John. Why not apologize to Emily? She seems genuinely upset this time. If she marries someone else, you'll regret it too late. Over the phone, someone advised John. John scoffed dismissively. She was engaged to Mew, who else would marry her? In a couple of days, she'll be begging me to take her back. Crying. True. In River City, besides the Brown family, no one dares cross the Doe family. If Emily doesn't marry you, she'll never marry anyone. More furious by the second. I hung up and turned off my phone. On the last day of my vacation, I returned to River City. After landing, I took a cab to John's Creek Hill apartment. John, as the eldest son of the Doe Group, had lived at the family estate after graduating and taking over the business. But he moved into his own place when we planned to cohabit a few days ago. Lily lived across from him. According to him, their families arranged it for mutual support in the same neighborhood. During my last short stay, I had left a diary at his place. The diary records the entire process of my relationship with him. I must take it today. As soon as I opened the door, I saw John in the kitchen making soup. Lily was wearing a pink dress and was clinging tightly to his body, looking into the pot. In my memory, this was the first time John had ever entered the kitchen. He had a bad stomach. After we got together, I made him a breakfast myself. He said it was the best breakfast he had ever had. So I made breakfast for him for several years. I made it in different ways just to make him happy. Hearing the sound of the door opening, John glanced at me indifferently and then looked back into the pot. Lily walked towards me and gave me a sweet smile. Emily, you're back. I got out of the hospital today. John cooked soup for me specially. You're not jealous again, are you? John is your legally married husband. Why would I be jealous? I replied coldly, bypassed her and headed towards the bedroom. But suddenly there was a loud thud behind me. Emily, if you don't want John to make soup for me, I can just tell him. Why did you push me so hard? Looking in the direction of the sound, I saw Lily lying on the floor with red-rimmed eyes. She looked so wronged and pitiful, as if I really had pushed her. Emily, what are you crazy about? John put down the ladle and rushed over. He helped Lily up and stared at me with a frowning brow. In an instant, his gaze suddenly fixed on the area under my right earlobe. Emily, what's that? Are you blind? Can't you tell it's a hickey? I said irritably. John's face darkened, and he cursed angrily. Damn it. Who did that? Emily, I've never even touched you. And you dare to sleep with other men. John, don't get so angry. Emily went to Flower City alone for a trip. She must have been bullied by those shady men. How can she bring herself to talk about it when you ask her like this? Lily grabbed John's arm and then looked at me with a hint of sympathy. Emily, a woman who doesn't respect herself is like a rotten cucumber in the vegetable field. No man will like her. The Doe family has strict family rules. You were slept with by someone while traveling. John definitely can't keep you. Slap. I stepped forward and slapped Lily hard. This time, I saw with my own eyes that she let out a scream and fell to the ground. I coldly questioned her. Lily, who gave you the courage to spread rumors about me to my face? You knew John had a fiancé but still insisted on getting married to him. I haven't said anything about this. Do you think you're really that accomplished? Tears welled up in Lily's eyes. John's eyes were full of for her. But when he looked at me, there was a hint of hostility between his eyebrows. Emily, you pushed Lily just now and now you hit her. You still say you're not jealous and angry. I was wrong not to tell you in advance about my marriage to Lily. But Lily is in poor health. If you're angry, take it out on me. John, I didn't push Lily. Believe me or not. It's up to you. I came here today to get that diary. From now on, let's not contact each other anymore. I turned around and walked into the bedroom, then took out the diary. Emily, are you serious? Just as I was about to reach the door, John called out to me. I looked at him and laughed with tears in my eyes. John, the first just suddenly realized that my high school crush on you was just a joke. Loving you has cast a shadow over my life. During my senior year in high school, I accidentally fell into the river. When I woke up, I saw John. That was probably when the seed of my crush was sown. 3 days later, Michael invited me to the anniversary concert of the Plana Band. I agreed. At 7 p.m., I sat in the venue. When all the stage lights came on, The screams from the audience were as if boiling water was bubbling non-stop. Emily. See. My brother is still quite popular. My dad used to tell him every day to go back and inherit the family business. But he said my dad is still young and can work for another 10 years. He wants to pursue his passion now. Sophie took out a support banner from her bag and motioned for me to hold one corner with a smile. I took a look and found that it said loving yourself is always Plana. The Plana band has 4 members. After they finished singing the anniversary celebration song, the other 3 members left the stage. Michael picked up a guitar and smiled gently. Next, I'll perform a new solo song. It's dedicated to a friend. I hope she'll be happy every day. The song is called A Promising Future. As the guitar strings rang out, he began to sing softly. A kite takes risks for just one string. I want to tell you that you'll always be my top choice. The sound of Michael Brown's voice echoed in my ears. Tenderness seemed to take on a tangible form at that moment. Unconsciously, I recalled the words Head said to me in Flower City. Emily, would you like to give us a try? Suddenly, Michael locked eyes with me. My heart skipped a beat in sync with his voice. Emily, why is my brother staring at you? Did he write this song for you? The title is even your name. Come on. Tell me the truth. Is there something going on between you two? No. He's looking at you. Huh. Don't tell me my brother would look at his own sister so lovingly. That's just creepy. Sophie gave me a mischievous look. I felt a twinge of guilt. I'd told her about other things that happened in Flower City, but I just couldn't bring myself to mention that night. After the concert, Sophie took me backstage. Hello. I'm Emily Smith. I'm Sophie's best friend and also Michael's high school classmate. After I introduced myself, a curly-haired guy looked at Michael meaningfully, as if he'd discovered something big, and teased. Michael, is she the girl you like? Did you write that love song A Promising Future just for her? As soon as the curly-haired guy said that, the other 2 bandmates burst into laughter. Michael shot them a glance, raised his eyebrows slightly, then looked down at me and said gently, Emily, that song is indeed for you. But it's not a love song like they said. A promising future means the gloomy days are over. I hope your future will be bright. Hearing it wasn't a love song, I felt relieved. But for some reason, there was also a strange feeling in my heart. The next day, Michael sent me a WeChat message. Emily, are you free this Saturday afternoon? I've arranged a 2-on-2 friendly basketball match with some friends at Gyeongchang-no, One High School. I hope you can come and cheer me on. Gyeongchang-no, One High School was my alma mater. It would be nice to go back and have a look. Just as I finished replying to Michael, David, John's sidekick, sent me 2 voice messages. Sister-in-law, are you free this Saturday afternoon? I only listened to the first one. He probably wanted to talk about John, and there was nothing I wanted to talk about. Before I knew it, it was Saturday. I went to Gyeongchang-no, One High School, but as soon as I reached the basketball court, I saw John. He was wearing a white basketball uniform, and Michael was standing across from him. So, was the 2-on-2 friendly basketball match Michael mentioned against John. When David saw me, the corners of his mouth curled up in excitement. John, sister-in-law really came today. Just give in a little. We've all seen how sad you've been these days, drowning your sorrows in alcohol. It's better for you and for us if you 2 make up soon. John looked in my direction. There was no expression on his cold face, and his tone was flat. Why did you bring her here? I'm John Doe. I'm not short of girlfriends. Why should I keep putting up with her unreasonable tantrums? As he said that, he paused for a moment. Then his eyes softened. This is my last act of kindness. As long as she brings me water, I'll put aside my pride and make up with her. Their voices were just loud enough for me to hear. I ignored them and walked straight towards Michael. Emily. When Michael saw me, he ran over with a smile. He was tall, and there was always a hint of rascality in his smile. But somehow, He was incredibly eye-catching. Hey, race some water for you. Good luck in the game. I handed the Waha water to Michael. He reached out and ruffled my hair. Thanks. This is the first time you've brought me water. I'll definitely win today. Michael. What the hell are you doing? Emily is my fiancée. Are you trying to steal her from me? John suddenly rushed over and punched Michael in the corner of his mouth. Michael reacted quickly and punched John back hard. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and laughed recklessly. What do you mean by stealing someone's girl? John Doe. If I remember correctly. Your wife is Lily Green. Right. Emily witnessed you two getting married. She's just your ex-girlfriend now. I told you before that if you didn't treat her sincerely, I'd definitely take her away. Michael Brown. Never tell lies. John was punched and took 2 steps back. His eyes were full of rage. Seeing that he was about to go after Michael again, I pushed him away. John. What the hell are you doing? John seemed to remember something. He stared at me with red eyes. Emily. Don't tell me you were hanging out with Michael during those days in Flower City. Do you know he's my buddy? Michael is a big star now. He's just having fun with you. He can't be serious about you. I laughed coldly. So what? John. You should understand that our engagement ended the moment you married Lily. What I do and who I'm with have nothing to do with you. Seeing my determination, John softened his tone. Emily. I'm sorry. Lily needed a heart operation at that time. She was afraid she wouldn't make it through the surgery and begged me to marry her. We grew up together. I couldn't say no. I've applied for a divorce with her. Once the cooling off period is over, I'll marry you. How about that? I gave him a disdainful look. Not good. Our relationship is over. Please don't mention marriage again. It's really annoying. Michael, did you invite me to play basketball just to let me know you're the other man? How despicable. John glanced at Michael and left dejectedly. Uncle Michael, you're not being fair. You and Uncle John are buddies. Yet you're stealing his fiancée. David looked at Michael contemptuously and then at me. Auntie. You. David. Are you stupid? Emily is no longer his fiancée. If you call her auntie one more time, I'll beat you up. Michael clenched his fists and interrupted David. David stiffened and slunk away, seeing that Michael had a cut on the corner of his mouth. I took out a cartoon-shaped band-aid from my bag and offered it to him, but he didn't take it. Emily, I can't see well. I'm afraid I'll waste this cute band-aid by putting it in the wrong place. Can you help me put it on? I looked up at the man speaking and found that there was a smile on his face. So I tore open the band-aid, stood on tiptoe, got close to his face, and gently put it on the corner of his mouth. Then I deliberately pressed it down hard, hearing his pained cry. I smiled lightly. Serves you right. Did you deliberately invite John to play basketball? Yeah. Michael didn't deny it and asked with a smile. Emily, when did you start liking John? I was stunned for a moment and then pointed at Uahu Lake in front of the library. In senior year of high school, I accidentally fell into Uahu Lake. John saved me then, in the first semester of senior year. One day my mom called me and said it was an emergency. After I came out of the library, I was going to run to the school gate. When I passed by Uahu Lake, I tripped over a rock and, unfortunately, rolled into the lake. When I woke up, I saw John. After that, my eyes were always on him. During the 4 years of college, everyone envied me for having a boyfriend who loved me so much. But no one knew how hard I tried to chase him. Michael, what are you looking at? Seeing that Michael was staring at the lake thoughtfully, I waved my hand in front of his eyes. Nothing. Let me walk you home. Michael looked back and smiled at me. He had a hearty smile, and his eyes were bright and shining. For a moment, my memory took me back to a few years ago because of his smile. Gyeongchang No. 1 high school was the best high school in Gyeongchang. Back then, John and Michael, as transfer students, were quite famous in school. Both of them were top students. On a par with each other. In the second year of high school, Michael and I were assigned to Class 7 of the liberal arts experimental class. He sat behind me for 2 whole years. In my memory, he was cool and aloof in high school, obsessed with playing basketball, spending every afternoon after class either on the court or in the music room. Even now, he hasn't changed, always radiating that youthful energy. At 1 in the morning, my phone kept ringing. I picked it up and saw it was John Doe, calling me from an unfamiliar number. With a few texts in garbled alien-like language, I blocked the number and turned off my phone. Little did I know, the next morning, just as I woke up, Lily Green showed up at my door. She looked haggard, but her tone was as unfriendly as ever. Emily Smith. Do you have any idea that John drank so much last night because of you that he got gastric bleeding? He refused to go to the hospital, locked himself in his room, wouldn't see anyone, and only wants to see you. Come with me to the Doe family's house. Lily Green. What gives you the right to ask me to see him? As his wife. Right. How generous of you calling an ex-girlfriend who dated him for 5 years to go see your husband. Aren't you afraid Michael Brown and I might rekindle our old flame? As soon as I said that, Lily's face darkened. As a fellow woman, I could tell she liked John Doe. She'd been frail since childhood and went abroad a few years ago to recuperate. After returning, she sought me out, demanding I break up with John Doe myself, claiming he'd do anything for her and would put her above all else. Lily's feelings for John were no secret to him. Ever since she came back, he'd clearly shifted his focus to her, constantly taking her on trips, shopping sprees, and to eat whatever she craved. To an outsider, it might seem like Lily was his girlfriend. I hadn't let it slide without a fight, but he insisted it was a duty assigned by the elders, to care for Lily meticulously because she had congenital heart disease. The next morning at 3 o'clock, I heard the sound of rummaging through drawers in the living room. Startled from my sleep, I almost thought zombies had invaded. Opening the bedroom door, I saw John Doe sitting on the sofa, surrounded by scattered items all over the floor, holding my diary in his hands. I'd been so angry lately I'd forgotten I'd given him a spare key. When he saw me, John jumped up excitedly, trying to hug me. I sidestepped to the left, and he fell face first onto the floor. Emily, can we get back together? I read this diary you wrote. You always kept it from me, but it's full of your love for me. I know you only got with Michael Brown to spite me. I don't care what happened between you two. Just come back to me. Don't you want to open a fashion design studio? I'll find you a space at dawn. And you mentioned wanting 2 cats. I'll buy them for you. Okay. I was wrong to agree to marry Lily Green. I should have told you the truth sooner. If it were you, facing someone with heart disease, you couldn't say no either, could you? We were together for almost 5 years, and I've gotten used to having you around. Since you started giving me the cold shoulder, it feels like a piece of my heart has collapsed. It really hurts. He sat on the floor, dejected, muttering to himself as if confessing to me or blaming himself. Collapsed. That made me laugh inexplicably. John Doe, what's wrong with you in the middle of the night? If you're sick, go to the hospital. I reached out to pull him up and shove him out, but he clung tightly to my leg, unable to hold back. I slapped him hard across the face. John Doe, can you stop being so childish? If you can't even break up properly, what kind of CEO of the Doe family's corporation are you? You might as well go play in the mud with 3-year-olds. John looked up, the sharp angles of his face now bearing a bright red handprint. I asked him outright what had been puzzling me. John Doe, it wasn't you who saved me back then at Uahu Lake. Why did you lie? Did Michael Brown tell you the truth? John froze, looked down, and suddenly laughed. Emily, it wasn't me who saved you. It was Michael Brown. At the hospital, Michael went to change out of his wet school uniform. When you woke up, you asked if I was the one who saved you, and I didn't correct you, letting you think it was me. I admit I had selfish motives. I'd already taken a liking to you before that. Michael and I transferred from private school to Jiangchang one high school. Everyone else was afraid to offend us. But you were different. As vice president of the student council, you treated us with a strictly businesslike attitude. When Michael was late once, you insisted on deducting points despite the teacher's objections, and that left a deep impression on me. The next day, Michael went to Kyoto for a training camp and was gone for half a year. After he came back from his art exams, he found out you'd fallen for me and never brought up saving you again. So that was it. Actually, Sophie Taylor told me about it yesterday. She said Michael didn't want her mentioning it in front of me, mainly to avoid bringing back the trauma of nearly drowning. John Doe. Do you have a lighter? Lend it to me. John paused, then pulled out his limited edition lighter from his bag. I took it, turned, and went into the kitchen to get a basin. Immediately, I snatched the diary from his hands, tore out a few pages, lit them directly, and threw them into the basin. Emily Smith. What are you doing? John Doe widened his eyes, trying to stand up and stop me, but drunk as he was, he wobbled unsteadily and fell back down. Inside the diary, there were 106 entries of my unrequited love, written stroke by stroke, and the rest were about our romantic relationship. Emily, if you keep tearing, there won't be anything left. Are you really going to burn our love in this basin? Don't I have any chance left with you at all? My hand paused for a moment as I gave John a blank look. Then, I threw the remaining half of the diary into the roaring flames, watching the pages filled with words turn to ashes one by one. Memories grew wildly in my heart until they pierced a hole through it. I shouldn't have been sad. I just felt a bit of regret that the 17-year-old John was gone. After the burning, I called Lily Green. Come quick and pick up John. That drunkard. Can't even manage your own husband. How dare you snatch him away from me back then? The voice on the other end was choked up. But in the end, nothing more was said. A few days later, it was Michael Brown's 25th birthday. After the birthday party, he took me to the beach and confessed his feelings. I said yes. When Michael confessed, he said a lot. But he didn't mention the time he saved me years ago. When I brought it up, a gentle smile appeared in his eyes. I was afraid that if you knew, you'd agree to my confession because of that. I want you to genuinely like me from your heart, so that when we're together, it'll bring true happiness. I stepped forward with a smile and hugged him. Michael, it's true that I want to say thank you. And it's also true that I've genuinely fallen for you. You're so silly. If I hadn't broken up with John, wouldn't you have waited all these years for nothing? As long as Emily marries me, my 8 years of unrequited love won't have been wasted. His sweet voice fell into my ears as I pulled myself out of Michael's embrace and looked up into his bright, smiling dark eyes. I couldn't think of any words to respond to that. So, I stood on tiptoe and kissed him directly. Early the next morning, the trending topic suddenly exploded. John and Emily's 1706-day passionate love. The one who revealed it was John. When I saw the trending topic, my vision went dark, feeling like some dark history had suddenly been exposed. He posted 2 long tweets. The first was about every little detail of our 5-year relationship, most of which came from my diary that he had flipped through that night and somehow memorized. The second was an apology to me and a marriage proposal. Emily, let's get married. Emily, give me another chance. This time, I'll spoil you like a princess. Okay. You said you wanted a starry sky wedding, and I've already prepared it. John posted pictures of the starry sky wedding scene he had set up. I looked at it and saw it was indeed the style I had once described to him. In John's long tweet, he wrote about how, while he was with me, he went and got married to Lily Green. The comment section had no words of blessing, only people telling him to get lost. I thought it was some devoted CEO coming out to propose, but it turns out he's a cheating scumbag. Both the guy and the girl have no shame. What kind of niche text is this? I was stunned by all these lines. Could he have a fiancée and still go marry his childhood sweetheart? What childhood sweetheart? That's John's ex-wife. They just got divorced a few days ago. I was about to reply when a large hand suddenly reached from behind and snatched my phone away. Emily, don't look at those copied love quotes of his, Michael said, pulling me into his embrace and kissing my neck. A jealous man is really terrifying. Like a hungry puppy. I played around with him in bed for a while. Then, I picked up my phone, opened Twitter, and reposted John's proposal tweet. Not marrying a twice-married man. Those 4 words quickly shot up to the trending topic. Later, I heard from David that John was in floods of tears and had red eyes that day. He called me countless times, but all the calls showed an empty number. Well, afraid of his harassment, I had cancelled my phone card long ago. A few days later, a well-known paparazzo posted a 9 grid of photos of me and Michael kissing on the beach. When I saw the trending search, I didn't even dare to look at the comment section. Michael is a big star, and I guessed people in the comment section might scold me. But Sophie told me that no one in the comment section was scolding me. They were all saying that Michael and I were a good match. They also said that the well-known fashion designer and the top stream band lead singer were high shoe L classmates, which was really cute. That night, John posted a Weibo with just a period. Netizens all commented that he was heartbroken. A few minutes later, Michael also posted a Weibo. I've finally chased after the girl I've liked for 8 years. I'll love her with my whole life. Extra scene from John's perspective. I lost a girl named Emily. Her life should have been as bright as her name. But I wasted 5 years of her youth. It was really wrong of me. I truly liked her. But after we got together, our feelings were consumed bit by bit until the end. All that was left were arguments. Anyway, it was me who didn't learn how to love someone. It was me who let her down. On the day when Michael announced his relationship, I decided to go abroad to relax. Soon after, David called me on video. He said that Emily and Michael were going to get married. Michael designed a cosmic wedding scene for Emily himself. People who had seen it all said it was very romantic. I saw it and it was really good. If I hadn't lost her, I would have been the groom. Emily once told me that every string takes risks in the air just for one kite. And she was that string, guarding me. The kite. I didn't understand what she meant at that time. But now I do. But Michael has become the string guarding the kite. In his hands, the kite will fly steadily. I can only watch from afar. I wish them happiness. They must be happy. From Michael's perspective, it seems that I've fallen in love with a girl named Emily. The first time I met her was at the school gate of Gyeongchang No. 1 middle school. It was the first time I was late for school in my life. The teacher didn't say anything, but she rushed up and gave me 3 demerits. Michael, the young master of the Brown family. How dared she write down my name? Well, I remembered her. The next time we met, she was carrying the class math notebooks to the teacher's office. She was accidentally bumped into, and the notebooks in her hand scattered all over the ground. I helped her pick up a few. She said thank you. Classmate. I have a name. Michael. She wrote my name in her discipline book but didn't remember my name. Well, I remembered her again. After that, I asked the driver to take a detour to school every morning. After being late 12 times, I asked her if she remembered my name. You're Michael, who is often late for class. She blushed slightly and spread out the notebook in her hand. A whole page of it was filled with my name. Michael. I have to say, she looked quite cute when she blushed. And her handwriting was also very nice. Especially when she wrote my name. Emily Smith's parents got divorced, and she lived with her mom. Her mom and grandma opened a bookstore called Next Year's Radiance at the school gate. I didn't have someone dig up these details about her. I, Michael Brown, am no stalker. I learned these things through her gossip-loving classmate, Yuan. One day, I wanted to buy a math workbook. I had my driver take me to her mom's store. But when we got there, it was closed. I'm crazy. I mean, I was out buying a workbook at midnight. It seemed I was really losing it. In class, I'd stare at her without even realizing it. Even my classmate noticed and asked if I liked Emily. Of course, I denied it. Michael Brown, don't do secret crushes. If I like someone, I'll go for it. In my senior year of high school, I was about to go for art training. On my way to school with John Doe, I saw Emily fall into the river. After pulling her out, I panicked and gave her CPR. I lost my first kiss. At that moment, I thought to myself that once she woke up, I'd make her take responsibility. When we got to the school infirmary and I went to change my clothes, when I came back, I saw her looking at John with admiration. I was stunned. Did she like John? But I didn't get an answer because the next day, I left for art training in Beijing to prepare for the art college entrance exam. After the spring semester started, I noticed that her eyes were always on John. So I had to bury my feelings deep down. How ridiculous. Michael Brown, was having a secret crush. After the college entrance exam, I heard that she was going to confess her love to John. Yeah, to my best buddy. I felt like such a fool. Suddenly, I didn't want to go to the same college as Emily. I was afraid of being the jealous third wheel. If I burst with jealousy, I might hurt her. Luckily, my sister, Sophie Taylor, was in the same college as Emily, so I could still get some news about her sometimes. I saw Emily again at Planaband's one-year anniversary concert. I invited John, and he brought her along. But that time, John and I had an argument. He said he was going to accompany Lily Green to a private party the next day. But the next day was Emily's birthday. No matter how good of a friend he was, I looked down on him for that. So I punched him. But when I saw Emily worried about him, I felt like a clown again. On the day John and Lily got married, a mutual friend sent us their marriage certificate. At that moment, I was angry. But more than that, I was scared that Emily would cry. Sophie told me that Emily was going to Huachang. So I immediately flew there. She was so stupid. She used alcohol to numb the pain of her broken heart. I wanted to comfort her, but the words just wouldn't come out. I'm not good at consoling girls, especially ones who just had their hearts broken. I even comforted Sophie by punching her playfully. Emily is the girl I like. I couldn't possibly punch her, could I? Emily slept with me and then gave me $200. Am I a gigolo? Is that all I'm worth? I was furious. But when I found her sitting alone outside a breakfast joint, with the wind blowing through her hair, she looked like a fragile little grass on the verge of breaking. My heart ached for her. Such a good girl. Why doesn't John Doe cherish her? Since he doesn't cherish her, then get out of here. September 10th, 2032. I'm very happy that Emily Smith and I are finally together. She even kissed me first.